Welcome to Texas is a component of the Current Constitutional Applications Project. Copyright 1998, 2007, Bay Israel, Chichikar Keller Iglesias, all rights reserved.
District Attorney William Coenen, 5th Judicial Circuit of Louisiana.
Hello?
Hey, is this Billy Coenen?
Yes, it is.
Hey, this Victoria Hoggett. I'm an attorney in Tupelo, Mississippi.
You trying to get in touch with me?
Uh-huh. Have you received...
What about now?
Have your grand jury...
My assistant DA in that... I've got 3 parishes. My assistant DA in that parish is Johnny Booth, who you've been talking with, and he is handling that for me.
Okie doke. I need to let you know something about Mr. Booth's involvement.
What would that be?
Well, okay, the grand jury is supposedly for interstate kidnapping and also aiding and abetting Andrew Albritton's interstate flight to avoid prosecution for aggravated incest. While Andrew Albritton, the sex offender, was still a fugitive, Johnny Booth, your assistant DA, listened to audio tapes made by the father of the sexual assault survivor alleging local police complicity. Mr. Booth also listened to audio tapes of pharmacist Tessa Hoggett Albritton saying that FBI agent Nathan Songer, or the FBI agent, she called him,
And tell him whatever information you have about Mr. Booth. But what's the long and short of what you're saying? That Mr. Booth...
Mr. Booth,
it out, or what do you...
I think so. I think you need a special prosecutor. I've been appointed special prosecutor here in Tupelo before, but this situation we have, see, Sheriff Steve Pilot refused access to public records, the bond and arrest records, because Albritton was bonded out a month before the aggravated incest trial on second offense DUI, when it was at least his 4th. And Mr. Booth wrote me a letter and said he can't let me see the records, but they didn't know that. I happen to have records from the sheriff's office that showed they did know that. Mr. Booth listened to Wilton Hoggett and Tessa Hoggett Albritton talk about the fugitive and Wilton Hoggett's then current assistance to the fugitive, and did nothing. And that's all.
But let me ask you this: can you explain all of this to the investigator that's going to come see you?
Yes, but I cannot get my. I have a critical witness from Virginia who has to go ahead and buy a 2-week notice plane ticket to attend the grand jury. She was an eyewitness to interstate kidnapping, as was Ethan Hoggett, to 2 interstate kidnappings.
Interstate kidnapping. Where did that occur?
The first one was in Patterson, New York. The second was...
Which one occurred in Franklin Parish?
Well, the child was conveyed to Wilton Hoggett's home in Franklin Parish. And it was in retaliation for our suggesting that it wasn't the nicest thing to do to assist a sex offender. Mr. Hoggett had told us that he...
I've got to get my arms around what happened in Franklin Parish and when it happened. And I told my investigator yesterday on a joint conference with Mr. Booth to meet with you or whoever the Hoggett people. I've gotten something from a dentist as well.
Right, that's my husband.
Whoever the persons are that are bringing all of this, and to sit down with them. And we've gotten tons of information about things that don't affect call shortly.
Should I tell my witness to not come, that it probably will be postponed, do you think, since it's this close?
I haven't said that. I don't know. Why? What does this witness know?
This witness, Sherry Johnson, was there when Warren Johnson, Dorothy Johnson, and Craig Johnson in Virginia sent Isaiah Hoggett, who can be subpoenaed from LSU Law School, to collect a minor child, Micah Hoggett, from Patterson, New York, and also Noah Hoggett from Natchez, Mississippi, both of whom were taken to Wilton Hoggett's in Franklin Parish. So even though these felonies were committed, breaking and entering, so forth, threatening and intimidating phone calls, they happened in other states, but they were all continued and completed in Franklin Parish. And the perjury...
What happened to the states where this stuff originated? Why aren't they prosecuting anybody?
Parents, beginning with a sexual assault in 1996, have filed criminal affidavits. And prosecutors have said things like jurisdictional nightmare. It is a nightmare, but it needs to end. You know, people need to wake up.
When did you file your criminal case here in Franklin?
I called the Sheriff's Department in August 22nd, and they still have notes of that, of 2000, the interstate kidnapping, when it was still when it was ongoing right then.
I guess we got a report on that. But anyway,
yeah, no, Tim Pilot still has notes on it.
Back to Mr. Lebrano will be calling you and going through the information on this case. So just hold tight. Now, I have no idea about a witness in New York or wherever that's flying down. I wouldn't put a witness through that if an affidavit would work. I mean, it's a grand jury. We can take affidavit testimony unless there's some extensive cross-examination that you think we're going to have to do to that person within the grand jury. I wouldn't think so. I would think they've got a simple set of facts. I could be wrong.
She has already mailed yesterday an affidavit to Mr. Booth.
I would do an affidavit rather than having somebody come from New York to a grand jury hearing.
Well, I just want to make sure we've been through so much litigation over this for years and filing so many criminal reports. One time we filed perjury, conspiracy, interference with service of process against in Natchez and the.
Sorry to cut you off, but I've
Yeah.
stepped out
Okay.
to take the call. But await Mr. Lebrano, and if you need an urgent decision on the witness flying down, I wouldn't do that. I would take an affidavit and swear to the facts that he or she knows.
Okay. Do you have any idea?
Glad to present that.
Do you have any idea why Wilton Hoggett and Isaiah Hoggett and Tessa Hoggett Albritton have not been subpoenaed yet?
Say again?
Critical. The folks who we hope will be charged with these felonies have not even been summoned. We're talking about a grand jury in in 10 days. Don't they have to have notice of the grand jury?
They don't. Defendants don't have to have notice of a grand jury. They
Okay.
can have notice of a grand jury.
All right. Okay. Well, that's what I thought the big holdup was. There.
You need, if you would, explain that to Mr. Lebrano. I'll take a look at it. Mr. Booth and I will both take a look at it with Mr. Lebrano and determine who we feel need to be at the grand jury.
Okay.
We
Well.
usually do.
Alrighty. Well, if you want an eyewitness who saw people hand the credit cards and say, "Go get this minor child from New York, from Virginia, and take him to Wilton Hoggett's eventually," and then on to his daughters in Texas, she's invaluable, in my opinion. If you want a grand jury to return an indictment, but you're the prosecutor. Like I said, I have very little experience in that sort of thing. So, all right, I'll let you go. I know you're in a meeting.
Okay.
I apologize about.